Thank you. Hello, everybody. I recognize many faces here today from yesterday's protest in Washington, D.C. on the 11th anniversary of the opening of Guantánamo, in which we got together to call for President Obama to fulfill his promise that he made 4 years ago to close the prison. And we continue to demand that, and we have right on our side. And I very much think that in the end we will prevail, but this has been a very long battle, as we all know, and it's not one for people who thought that everything would be over quickly. We're in a time of great historical upheaval and great dark forces that we're up against. The program of extraordinary rendition and torture and indefinite detention that was introduced by the Bush administration has in many ways been replaced by a program of drone attacks and of killing people without any kind of process whatsoever anywhere in the world, that must make those Bush administrations very happy to think that President Obama has so accepted their notion of the entire world as a battlefield, and everywhere on it is being subjected to no laws when the Americans decide to do whatever they want to do. And it's very important that everybody's here today, because this is this fairly novel process that we're dealing with, whereby people many thousands of miles away from kill sites are exterminating people without any kind of process on the basis of intelligence that we all know has been horribly faulty from the very beginning. All the stories of Guantánamo, of the people held there on the basis of incredibly inaccurate intelligence, the same kind of intelligence is being used to target people who are being wiped out in drone attacks. And that the President of the United States is apparently happy to sleep at night because the kill lists that he compiles involve the assessment that any male of a military age who is killed in these raids must have been a militant, must have been an insurgent, must have been a terrorist. Mr. President, you ought to interrogate the value of the intelligence that was used in Guantánamo to decide who they had captured and what it meant when they had captured these people. You ought to have a look at the stories of the people who ended up in Guantánamo, who were swept up in house raids in Pakistan, because the ISI and the Pakistani government were interested not in useful intelligence, but in directing you to people that they wanted to get rid of, and directing you to people that they didn't know anything about, but they just wanted the money that was being offered. The intelligence is useless almost entirely in terms of the people that are held in Guantánamo. They were trusting people that they were working with and not understanding that these people were actually working against their interests. There were dozens of people who ended up in Guantánamo who had actually been working with the Americans in Afghanistan. But they were shopped by their rivals, by their political rivals, by family rivals, by all kinds of people, and nobody bothered checking who knew what was going on. The whole of Guantánamo is a story of them knowing nothing and then torturing, coercing or bribing prisoners into making allegations about their fellow prisoners so that it looked as though they had some sort of evidence. This is the kind of operation that is leading to these drones killing people all around the world, and we're supposed to believe that these are people are being targeted with accurate intelligence when they're clearly not. So everybody, thank you very much for coming out here today. I will continue to do what I can to expose the crimes that have taken place at Guantánamo and that continue to take place there. I'm very, very glad to see you caring about the crimes that are being committed in your name. And I hope that at some point I'll be seeing you in a more social context that doesn't involve us having to do this. But I also am prepared to say we all need to be prepared to be in this for the long haul, because we seem to be up against a monstrous evil that shows no sign of giving up. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.